You guys, whenever we really get into the conversation about teams across the NBA that really know what they're doing when it comes to drafting and developing players, I think it's relatively safe to say, especially as of recently, that the Golden State Warriors are one of these teams. As for a fact, while most of you probably know, 3 of their biggest cornerstone pieces for the dynasty that has been built over the last decade were drafted and developed by the Warriors over the course of their entire career so far. And then going into this year, while the Warriors possessed the 7th and 14th overall picks in the 2021 draft, while sitting in a situation where they knew they were going to retain the majority of their roster, many people around the league were hesitant to the idea of the Golden State Warriors actually using these picks to select young prospects. And I'm sure everyone watching this video knows by now that thankfully the Warriors did not listen to the mainstream media and instead used both of their first round picks, and one of them happened to stumble upon what might be the biggest gem in the entire class. And if you somehow don't know him yet, his name is Jonathan Kuminga. Now I know this might sound like a stretch as we have not seen very much from this man so far in his young career, but there are definitely some reasons as to why myself and many other people believe this. And with these reasonings, it has actually created a very interesting situation within the Golden State organization that we need to talk about. One sec, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those noties to never miss another NBA video. Love you guys. And if you haven't yet, I am highly encouraging you to do so, because according to my numbers, over 95% of you guys coming back to watch the content haven't even subscribed yet. So for any of you that do, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now to get back on topic with the man Jonathan Kuminga, who I will say has already proven that he is capable of becoming a monster in this league for years to come, definitely has not got the love and respect, especially to the degree that I am giving him in this video from the rest of the NBA world. And I mean, honestly, I can definitely see why. Because in his small sample size of an NBA career thus far, he has only put up averages of 6.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and half an assist per game, while shooting just under 48% from the field and 30% from 3 on 34 total games played and 12 minutes per game. And I know there is probably going to be a lot of people that look strictly at this and say, what could you possibly see out of this man already? Well, with the Warriors being in a very bizarre situation that we don't see very often in the NBA, where a team is trying to simultaneously compete for a championship while also trying to build for the future of the franchise to a pretty serious extent, it is very clearly going to be difficult for the Warriors to find a consistent rotational spot for a young player like Kuminga. But let me tell you right now that when this man has got his opportunities so far this season, he legitimately looks like he has the capability to become a future superstar. As for a quick example, over the last 2 weeks, while I'm recording this video, Draymond Green has been sidelined due to injury. And with this happening, Kuminga was essentially thrown into the starting role of Draymond Green and saw a massive spike in his playing time by almost 20 more minutes per game. And in this specific 4-game stretch, the 19-year-old, competing on one of the best teams in the entire NBA, was putting up averages of 18 points, 7 rebounds, just over an assist, and 1 block per game on 26 minutes per game. Don't get me wrong, this span for Kuminga was ridiculous, but I know that some people might also say that he just went on a little hot streak. And to this, I'll say that even when you look at his per 36 stats throughout the course of the entire season, this man is showing the entire world what he is capable of every single time he steps out on that court. And with what we have seen out of Kuminga so far and the lack of recognition that he has got, I personally don't think it would be too far-fetched to say that he is the most underrated rookie up until this point. Because if some of you remember, going into the previous draft, Kuminga was a big question mark for many scouts. And for whatever reason this was, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he is not a major standout in one specific asset of his game, but he is more so just an all-around production monster for this team every time he hits the floor on both sides of the ball. And believe me, you guys, it is not just us who are seeing what Kuminga is capable of, because it really seems like the majority of this Warriors team is starting to realize what they have stumbled upon. Because we have some very outstanding quotes from players like Klay Thompson, who, when talking about Kuminga in particular, have said things like, "I am so excited for his future. One day down the line, it'll be his team." And along with this, Klay has also gone on to say he is such an incredible athlete. He's going to be a huge part of this team for a very long time. And yes, we still all do need to understand that Kuminga is just 19 years old and he is going to be anything but perfect. It's good to see his teammates like Klay and even Stephen Curry know that it's going to be a learning process to develop these guys and plug them into the rotation. As when Curry was asked about Kuminga's recent impact on the team, he stated that once our guys are able to tap into our experience, it's going to look different than many other rookies around the league. Now I know, no matter what team you're on and no matter how much experience you have, your teammates are almost always going to back you up, but for Kuminga to be able to get comments like this from his teammates in Steph and Klay, let's just say that this is likely more reassuring for Kuminga's confidence than anything else could be. But speaking of Kuminga's confidence and experience, there is one part of the Golden State Warriors team that is not on the same page as Steph and Klay with these comments, and this actually happens to be the coaching staff, as this happened to turn into the buzz surrounding the entire Warriors organization as of recently, where essentially Kerr and the coaching staff guaranteed that Kuminga would see increased minutes throughout the entire span of Draymond Green being sidelined. And in case you missed it, this relative guarantee has already not been fulfilled, as it seems to many Warrior fans that Kuminga has not been given a fair opportunity to prove himself by the coaching staff, and many believe it would be more effective to have Kuminga out there more consistently compared to some current rotational players that are getting more minutes. Now, looking at this whole thing from the outside in, I can definitely see where Warriors fans and even Kuminga himself can be frustrated, but believe it or not, I definitely think there are some positives that can be taken away from this entire situation, especially regarding Kuminga and his development. Because when thinking about the idea of the Warriors drafting a high-end prospect and wanting to develop them into the player they believe they can be, like we discussed earlier, it's safe to say the Warriors are familiar with this process. In fact, they just dealt with it as recent as last year with none other than James Wiseman, who, as most of you probably remember, was essentially thrown into the fire almost immediately to start his NBA career. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is a bad thing. I know that Kuminga and Wiseman are different players in different situations playing different roles for this team, but I think with what we are seeing right now, it could be a case of the Warriors simply learning from their mistakes and making sure that Kuminga gets the best development process possible, especially with the potential that we have already seen in him. I don't know, you guys, you could agree or disagree with me on the situation, but now I want to hear what you guys have to think. So please let me know in the comments what you think Jonathan Kuminga's ceiling is for his NBA career, and on top of this, do you think he should have a bigger rotational role by the time the Warriors hit the playoffs? But also, again, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. Trust me, you guys will not regret it. We are coming out with brand new NBA videos every single week around here. We are just getting into the heart of the NBA season. You do not want to miss out. But on that note, I also want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate all of you more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.